Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Cold War espionage drama, Dana Andrews starring in an episode of I Was a Communist for the FBI from July 9th, 1953. This episode entitled The Dangerous Dollars.
I was a communist for the FBI. Starring Dana Andrews in an exciting tale of danger and espionage. I was a communist for the FBI. Many of the incidents in the story you're about to hear are based on the actual records and authentic experiences of Matt Cvetic, who for 9 fantastic years lived as a communist for the FBI. Here is our star, Dana Andrews, as Matt Cvetic.
To use a simile, communism is like a time bomb, innocent enough on the surface, just a box. It isn't until you get inside that you find the dynamite intended to blow you apart. I know because for 9 years I was inside the party. I met the red dynamite on its own terms, and one thing I found out while working as an undercover man, you, mister, yes, and you too, lady, you're the target for that red explosion. The explosion it was my job to help prevent.
Now, here is Dana Andrews as Matt Cvetic, FBI undercover man. This story from the confidential file is marked The Dangerous Dollars.
Young Communist League, $6,809.44. Dues paid in full. Contributions up 3.5%.
Good. The Committee for the Protection of the Foreign-Born?
11,200. Dues in full. Contributions down 0.5. Notice this collection from Comrade Hartig's cell is up 100.
I was assigned to the Communist Finance Committee in charge of collections for the district, and I watched the figures mount up on Comrade Nora's adding machine. Money, big money, from Reds and from just plain suckers. Dues paid monthly, contributions paid as often as could be squeezed out of so-called voluntary donors. Subversive activity is expensive, and it was my job to get the money to pay for it, and to make sure the FBI knew where the money came from and where it went.
Big jumbo red hot. Popcorn. Get your popcorn here, mister. Be a sport. Feed the pigeons.
Sure. Give me an order of 17 peanuts.
17's a lucky number.
For a man who eats red popcorn. Hello, J. Cox. How's business?
Lousy. But I love blowing this darn whistle.
That's what I like about the FBI. The agents have so much talent.
Never mind my talent. Did you trace that money?
Yeah, I think so. The big portion goes to party headquarters in New York, of course. But there's one other big chunk that is picked up by a special messenger.
Regularly?
Well, for the past 6 weeks anyway.
Who's the messenger? Who gets the money?
I don't know. And the messenger I know only by number. 43. It's a blonde woman. Tall, beautiful if you like the type, and who doesn't. Slavic accent. She's due to make a pickup tonight.
Good. I'll have men waiting to tail her.
Important?
Plenty. This is a hot one, Matt. Meet me in my office tonight at 11. I want to give you a rundown. There's it. Come on, buddy. You've window shopped long enough. Beat it. Make room for the customers. Peanuts. Big jumbo red hots here. Peanuts.
That does it. Here, comrade.
Overall increase of $79.20.
That should satisfy National Headquarters, Comrade Matt.
Please them, perhaps. Satisfy them, no. Okay, Comrade Nora. I think we've done enough for tonight. Let's wrap it up and...
Oh, Comrade Matt, it's her, 43.
Well, good evening, comrades.
Good evening. Your package is there on the desk.
18,000.
And $10. Count it.
I'm sure it's right. Your figures are always right, a sign of your intelligence.
Oh, believe for me.
You're a very interesting man, Comrade Cvetic. Someday we may be able to meet on more social terms and discuss your intriguing nature. Good night, comrade.
Good night.
Comrade, did you see that coat? Mink. And that dress, why, it was outrageously bourgeois. Oh, she should be investigated. I don't trust that one.
You forget she's on special assignment. Undoubtedly, her clothing is a requirement. Well, it's time for us to close up.
Will you walk me home, Matt? Comrade Matt?
Well, I'd like to, but not tonight. I want to pick up some things at the drugstore before it closes.
Oh, well, there's one on the way to my place. I wouldn't mind waiting.
Well, sure,
I'll make you some coffee, and I have some cake.
All right, Comrade Nora. I'll take you home. No, I didn't want to take Nora home, but I was afraid to be too insistent. It was the usual distrust, the penalty I paid to live. Was Nora's interest because she was lonely, or could she have somehow discovered I was to meet my FBI contact that night? It wasn't until I was entering Nora's apartment that I was reassured of her motive.
Come on in. I want you to meet my children.
Children?
Well, that's what I call them. Here, babies, come to Mama. Oh, here they come.
Holy cats! Cats!
My babies. Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah, it was a pretty tragic sight. A homely girl so starved for affection she adopted cats to take the place of the children she'd never have. As soon as I could, I ducked out, and after a complicated series of turns and doubling back and forth to throw off any possible tail, I went to the Federal Building and up the rear way to the office of my FBI contact, Frank J. Cox.
Oh, hi, Matt. You're late.
Yeah, I had an unexpected delay. What is it, J. Cox?
It's an MVD agent, Krasnov.
He the guy 43 is delivering to?
We think so. Only we don't know that he's a he.
What?
All we have is the name, Krasnov. Otherwise, it's man, woman, or monkey. He pays your money and you take your choice.
We've got men following 43. If she takes that money to Krasnov, you'll know soon whether he's a man or not.
Krasnov's sex is not the problem.
What is?
Sabotage. Krasnov was the commie secret police agent behind a job in a West Coast aircraft plant a while back. Held up production for weeks.
You got proof?
Yeah. We got him nailed if we can find him.
If? Your men are covering 43 like a blanket. She'll lead you to him.
Maybe, but it seems too easy. Krasnov is the Reds' top agent. Word we've gotten is that Krasnov plans to import a small but highly trained group. Specialists in arson, demolition, and murder. Whew. Yeah. It's the kind of organization we can't afford to let get started. And that's the why of it, Matt. Krasnov and that money have got to be stopped.
Greenview 61124. Who's calling? Just a moment. Comrade Matt, it's a Mr. Jorgensen for you.
I'll take it here. I've got it, Nora.
Of course, I'm sorry.
Hello, Mr. Jorgensen. I didn't expect you to call me here.
I know it's dangerous, Matt, but I had to talk to you fast.
Well, your wife's operation didn't go too well last night?
You guessed it.
Where was it done?
43 was trailed to a small resort called Skyline Rancho, up in the mountains about 100 miles north of here. The resort is a commie hang-on. No one can get past the desk unless he's a Red.
Oh. Have you tried another doctor?
If you mean force, no.
So?
So we've got to get an agent inside that resort. Someone who can move around, find out which one of the guests or employees is Krasnov, where the money is, what Krasnov plans to do with it.
It sounds like a tough operation. You'd better have a good surgeon.
We have.
Who?
You.
What?
Sorry, Matt, but you're the only one who can do it. As a commie, you can get in. You've got a vacation coming. Take it. At Skyline Rancho.
Well, there it was, right in my lap. It was that kind of assignment, so the first thing I did was to make sure my life insurance policies were paid up. The next thing was to get off from work without arousing suspicion. Comrade Nora, my assistant, made it easy.
Comrade Matt, here are the vouchers for... Matt, what's the matter? You look ill.
Oh, I guess I'm just tired out. Oh, what a headache I got.
You should take a rest. Oh, I can handle things for a few days without any problem at all.
Do you think you could? You wouldn't mind?
Oh, certainly not. You know I'd do anything for you.
Yeah. I wonder where I could go.
Oh, goodness, there's plenty of places to go, Comrade Matt. There's Chateau Regal, Victor's Ski Lodge, Skyline Rancho, or...
The Skyline Rancho. Well, sounds like it might be nice.
Oh, it is, and it's exclusive, too. The owner's a party member, and he only lets in other members or fellow travelers. Why don't you go there? You'd love it.
I bet I will. All right, comrade, you've made up my mind. I'll go.
Welcome to Skyline Rancho, Mr.
Cvetic. Here.
Thank you. I'm Mr. Hungerford, the owner. Odd coincidence, you're coming to this resort?
It was well recommended. I'd never heard of it.
Who recommended it? I want to write and thank them.
Nora Bayless, my assistant. Why not call her? You'll get the answers quicker.
You're a clever one. Come with me, I'll show you around.
Skyline Rancho turned out to be a small group of bungalows, a stable, and a main lodge situated on a flat, heavily wooded mesa. After seeing my bag stowed in bungalow number 8, I let the suave Hungerford take me to the main lodge to meet the other guests.
Ah, Hungerford, there you are. Let's go outside. Coma Benices is clear tonight, and Vega is unusually bright.
Later, Charlie. Matt Cvetic, Charlie Grace, our amateur astronomer.
Oh, hello. Do you like to watch the stars, Mr. Cvetic?
Not too much, Mr. Grace.
Oh, dear. No one seems to care about the things in our heavens. It's just disgraceful.
Which one? You met them all, but which one was Krasnov, the MVD agent? The last one I met was a squat ape of a man with black fingernails and an expression like the devil with a hangover.
This is Mr. Kane, Matt Cvetic.
Hi. Hi. Been here long? Nah. Well, it's nice to see you're having such a happy time. Later that night, I decided to make my own private survey of the resort. I found nothing interesting around the bungalows, and the stables contained nothing but horses. But when I left the stable, I found myself pinned in the brilliance of 2 powerful flashlights that blinded me.
It's late, Cvetic. You'd better go to bed. This night air's cold. It could be the death of you.
July 9th, 1952, I was a communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of I Was a Communist for the FBI, starring Dana Andrews, July 9th, 1953, The Dangerous Dollars.
Now back to Dana Andrews, starring as Matt Cvetic in I Was a Communist for the FBI. and the second act of our story.
So far, I was getting no place in my search for the MVD agent Krasnov. All I had done was met a few guests at Skyline Rancho, and from the darkness received a warning about which I was still worried the next morning as I shaved. Oh, for the love of Pete, now what? Come!
Well, how are you this morning, Mr. Cvetic?
None the better for that warning last night.
Warning?
Don't be coy. You're not the type.
But
I recognized your voice. Look, I'm on vacation. What your deal is here, I don't know and care less. But I'm an important party member. I don't like being treated this way without reason.
I have reason. It's in your living room. Good morning.
Now, what did that mean? You.
Me.
What are you doing in my bungalow, Comrade 43?
I like being in your bungalow.
Well, why?
Why not?
Oh, because it's early morning and
Now, what have you got against morning?
Well, nothing, but... Yeah?
Matt?
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Jorgensen.
How are things with your mother?
All right. She had a few early complications, but at the moment she's holding her own.
Doctor's diagnosis very dangerous?
Worse than expected by the symptoms. I'll let you know how things develop, Mr. Jorgensen. So for heaven's sake, stop calling me.
I understand. I'll wait for your call.
That bum.
What is it, Matt?
Oh, nothing. Mom's been a little sick, and this friend of hers keeps calling me to find out how she is.
Well, let's forget other people's troubles and work on our own.
Yeah, only start with you being the reason for me being threatened last night.
I will if you sit here beside me.
Okay. Now make it good, Comrade 43.
I'll begin with my name. It's Connie Marachek.
You know mine?
Yes. And you know I'm on special assignment for the party.
What?
Sorry, Matt, it's secret, even to you. But it's very important to the party, so much so that when I saw you up here, well, let's say the coincidence made me suspicious. I told Hungerford.
And when he saw me taking a walk around in the dark, he pulled that flashlight routine.
It was his idea of teaching you a lesson. I apologize, Matt. I should have waited before saying anything to Hungerford.
I agree to that. Threats give me a headache.
Oh? Why don't you lie down and put your head in my lap, Let me rub your temples.
Sure. Go to it. It's a nice lap.
You like me just a little, Matt?
You ever find a man who didn't?
I never found a man like you before.
Well? Connie. What would have happened if Hungerford had decided I was really a spy?
He'd have shot you, I guess. Oh, but you're not a spy, so let's not talk about it anymore.
What'll we talk about?
Why talk at all? Head feel better, darling?
What head?
I'd better go. But do me a favor, Matt. Those walks, don't take them.
Connie gave me a smile that could have melted a 10-foot snowdrift and left me with one very positive determination. To take that walk everyone was so worried about. I ran into my first obstacle in front of my bungalow, a hollow-chested plaid coat supporting 2 binocular cases and waving a long, jaunted brass telescope.
Well, good morning, good morning. Who are you?
It's afternoon, and we've met, Mr. Grace.
Oh, yes, Mr. Cvetic, I remember now. Oh, my goodness, call me Charlie. Everybody calls me Charlie.
Good for them. Bye.
Oh, don't go. I want to show you
I've
something.
seen it. Why don't you toddle on to the main lodge, Charlie? Your aunt's waiting. Charlie Grace gone, I headed in the opposite direction, past the stables, searching for whatever it was I wasn't supposed to see. My first success was a faint path leading into the trees, a footpath. 2 miles through the trees, I found Krasnov's secret. A tiny airstrip and camouflaged hangar. In the hangar, a powerful black cabin plane equipped with extra wing tanks, all full to the top. It was information worth a big risk. I hurried back and took the risk by calling my FBI contact, J. Cox, from a payphone in the lobby of the main lodge.
Jorgensen speaking.
Jay, this is Matt. I'm sorry, but this is hot, and I can't double-talk it.
Go.
Krasnov's got a plane stashed out on an airstrip back in the trees. A cabin plane. No NC number. It's painted black. Extra tanks, all full. A guy staying here named Kane. His nails are full of black grease. I figure he's the mechanic.
Uh-huh. Krasnov?
I haven't spotted him yet, but I'm playing footsies with his messenger, 43. Her name's Connie Marachek.
Marachek, got it. You'd better get Krasnov fast. Black plane, night flight, wing tanks, long flight probably to Canada or Mexico.
Yeah.
Hate to ask you to do this, Matt, but you'd better jimmy that plane first thing.
Do what?
You have to. We can't let him escape now. You know anything about planes?
They got wings and they fly.
In that case, open the engine cover, reach in and grab something.
Then what?
Pull. If it comes loose, you're right.
July 9th, 1953, I Was a Communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion next.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of I Was a Communist for the FBI, The Dangerous Dollars, July 9th, 1953.
It was nearly dark when I made it back to the plane, and my luck held as I opened the engine cover and yanked loose a copper tube that spewed gasoline. It was the plane's fuel line. And that was when my luck started to run out, for across the clearing I could see Hungerford and Kane coming toward the hangar. I retreated into the dubious shelter of some boxes in a far corner and waited.
Come on, Kane. Let's get this plane out on the field.
Wait till I get the tool room open. I want to give the motor a last check out.
Oh, let that go, Kane. You've checked it a dozen times already.
But I want to be...
I said forget it. Now, come on. Help me roll the plane down to the end of the strip so Krasnov can take off without delay.
I watched as the plane was pushed out and down the field several hundred yards. It was turned into the wind, ready to take off, so they thought. When the two men headed back to the hangar, I got an idea. I tied a long piece of wire to a heavy wrench on the table inside the windowless tool room, ran the loose wire out to my hiding place among the boxes. When Hungerford and Kane entered the hangar, I yanked the wire so it pulled the wrench off the table in the tool room.
What's that? It came from the tool room.
Let's take a look.
It was close timing. When Hungerford and Kane moved cautiously into the tool room, I came out from behind the boxes and moved to the open door, then...
Hey, what is this? Open this door!
The room had no windows, so I knew the two Reds were in for keeps until that door was opened. Scratch 2. Next stop, Krasnov. But you have to flush a quail before you can shoot it. So back at the lodge, I dug up the last of my nerve for a bluff that had my heart pounding like a pneumatic drill.
Matt, what's the matter? You look so...
Connie, I've got to talk to you.
What is it, Matt?
Look, I don't know what assignment you're on, but if it's got anything to do with someone named Krasnov, get him out of here in a hurry.
Why?
FBI men, 2 of them. I overheard them talking.
Where? Are you sure?
I'm sure. One of them followed Hungerford and Kane into the woods back of the stables, and the other left, said he was going to bring up the rest.
Rest?
Where they talk they've got a whole army coming in.
But they can't. That is, we have to get away before...
We? You mean this Krasnov person and you?
Yes. You may as well know the whole thing now, Matt. You've proven I can trust you. The money I delivered went to Krasnov for him to use in organizing a sabotage ring. Charlie, come here, quick.
Of course, my dear, but do be quick. I want to plot the position of Sagittarius.
You can drop the act. Matt, this is Major Krasnov of the Secret Police. Tell him what you told me.
When Connie spoke, Charlie Gray's changed, and suddenly the harmless stargazer didn't seem quite so harmless. After I told my story, the MVD agent went into action, racing to his bungalow and picking up a valise. Then, with Connie in tow, he vanished down the path to the airfield. I waited near the stables, and in 16 minutes by my watch, they were back, running.
Matt, the plane won't work.
The FBI man broke the fuel line. We'll have to use a car.
No, you...
Huh?
I mean, that is, the FBI will be watching the road.
Yes, very probable. We'll have to get out of here before they move in.
Wait a minute. I've got it. Take horses. You can shortcut down the mountain to Asheville and catch the train there for the city.
Of course. They won't be expecting us to use horses.
True. And we can charter a plane in the city. Thanks, Comrade Cvetic. You've been a great help.
It was my pleasure, Major Krasnov. Believe me. I watched Krasnov and Connie ride their horses into the darkness. Then, in the main lodge, I went to the payphone and made a call that was a real pleasure.
Jorgensen.
Hi, Jay. Better meet the train coming in from Asheville. Couple of people on it you'll want to see.
Krasnov?
Yeah. I found out. He's a he. You'll know him. He'll be with Connie Marichek. Oh, and he'll be carrying a valise. Take good care of it. It's full of happy cabbage.
Don't worry. We'll take care of it.
And while you're at it, send a squad of men up here to make a phony raid to cover my story. They'll find 2 men locked in the tool room of the hangar.
Got it. You coming back to the city?
Sure. I've got to get back to my little red cabbage patch. There it was, another fragment of the story. A man's life is made up of bits and pieces. Only a purpose can give them meaning. I found my purpose in the underground fight against communism. It was no fun, but don't mistake me. It was worth it to know I was helping in the struggle to keep freedom alive. It was worth it even though it cost me my friends and made me a man who always had to walk alone.
July 9th, 1953, I was a communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of the soap opera Claudia. This episode originally broadcast July 9th, 1948.
And now, Claudia.
David, are you sure you won't feel silly?
Now, why on earth should I feel silly?
Well, I mean, you're not a nurse.
I'm a husband, and there are many times when it's practically the same thing.
Well, if you do feel silly, the nurse will be happy to help me.
I believe it is not only my duty, but my right and my pleasure as your husband, Mrs. Naughton, to help you on your first walk down the hospital corridor.
Oh, so impressive. Well, if you don't mind, I really prefer you to any old nurse any old day.
That's not much of any old compliment. Now, remember, Dr. Rowland said just once down the corridor and back, that's all.
He didn't say that to me.
He said it
just
to me.
said, Mrs. Naughton, today you walk.
Dr. Rowland and I are in cahoots, so
I
it's just
thought
down the
so.
corridor and back. Now, he'll be back this afternoon to see that you didn't do more.
Poof. Why, that's hardly even walking. It's hardly worth the trip.
Well, wait till you're on your legs before you feel so brash and adventuresome.
That's exactly how I feel. I feel a little woozy.
Here are your slippers. Now, can you manage to put them on?
Now, what do you take me for?
A conceited young woman who has a son only 4.5 days old.
Goodness, he's still so young?
Now, here, you sit on the edge of the bed. I'll slip your slippers on for you.
Go away, go away, go away, shoo fly!
Look, you can bully your nurse, you can bully your doctor, you can bully your mother, but you can't bully me, you
I
hear?
can't.
No, so shut up while I put them on for you.
Oh, I love you when you're so manly.
Well, you'd never know it. You don't give me much chance.
One slipper? Two slippers?
Now, want to rest a little?
Yeah. It's so much work for me for you to put on my slippers. Or something.
It was, by God. You know, I think you're a little girl whose eyes are bigger than her muscles.
Very funny. Hand me my bathrobe.
Madame?
If you please.
Madame, your cloak.
Oh, this feels so good. Oh, there we are. All ready to slide off the bed.
Madame, my arm.
Shall we dance?
First things first. Now.
David, now you're treating me as if I were an invalid.
That's the way you should be treated.
Oh.
A mental invalid.
Poof to you.
Poof to you.
I am now standing, and perfectly. Whew.
What's the matter?
Well, that's the strangest thing. I can't find my legs.
Really? They're right there, under you.
David, they feel so thin.
They look all
The
right.
rest of me is so heavy. I thought after the baby I'd feel light, but I certainly never felt this way before.
Not even after your tonsils.
I was too little to appreciate it.
Say, I'd forgotten you stood up to here on me. Just perfect.
David.
Now, here's my arm, darling. Now, would you like it?
Oh, David, it feels so good. So strong.
Now to open the door and have a stab at the hall.
Goodness, it seems a long way from here.
I'll race you down to the
I
end.
feel like a calf. All of me strong except me legs.
Christopher Robin goes hoppity, 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 hop. Whenever I tell him politely to stop it, he says he can't possibly stop.
Unquote. The end?
The end. How you doing?
Terrible. Now that I've found my legs, I've lost my breath.
Where do you think?
In my room.
Oh, I'll go back and get it. I have an idea we'll find it again in front of the nursery, though.
The nursery?
Mm-hmm. It's right down the hall here.
Oh, David, you're dangling a carrot in front of my nose.
Now, it's just a few more steps, my little pony.
Honestly, what a business. Nobody told me.
You really hate not being your own boss, don't you?
Is that awful?
It's stubborn, willful, conceited, proud, and a great relief to any husband.
Now, don't you ever talk to me like that in front of our son. You hear?
And I'd better shut up because here we are. Mrs. Naughton, may I present you your son? Second from the left in the first row.
You don't say.
Look at him, sound asleep. Is that all he can think to do?
I don't think he's very handsome.
I can't understand why he looks so old. Bags under his eyes, pouches on his cheek, half bald. He looks like the High Lama of Tibet
Now,
or
listen,
something.
I can say those things, but you can't.
Also, he's lazy. Shiftless. Sleep, snooze, slumber. What a life.
Isn't it? It's wonderful living.
You're really pretty pleased with life, aren't you?
Not a complaint.
That's because you're not afraid of it.
It's funny, but I didn't have one premonition of anything going wrong.
No?
I was excited, maybe even afraid a little, but I never felt anything would go wrong.
Wonder if all women feel like that.
I wonder. I'm sure they do before, but afterwards, if it doesn't go right, they think they didn't expect it to. All those closed doors up and down this corridor. I wonder how many happy endings.
Oh, most of them.
I couldn't have taken it if anything had...
Darling, if your hands are cold, I better get you back to bed.
Yes, David, I'd like to now.
Well, so long, boy. See you later, huh?
Goodbye. Sweet dreams. You sleepy darling.
Another parent would say that he looks as if he understood.
We're not that kind of parent. Are you?
Of course I aren't. Now go on, darling. Don't be afraid to lean on me.
So help me, tomorrow I will stand on my head as if nothing had happened.
You'd probably do a lot better on your head today.
Why?
Your legs aren't as accustomed to being weak.
Oh, you are sweet.
No.
Just for that, I'll manage the rest of this corridor under my own power, thank you.
Thank you, conceded.
Huh. Well, this is much better. I suspect that you have been using me as a crutch instead of vice versa.
That's just the kind of guy I am.
Just 2 more doors and I'm home. I never thought I'd be so happy to see that hospital bed again.
Sort of nice to know that you've a flaw like the rest of us, Mrs. Superwoman.
Well, this flaw is not my fault. If I'd been allowed out of bed the day after instead of 3 days after, I'd be out dancing by now.
Oh, sure.
Here we are. Oh, look. Isn't that bed beautiful? I can just get into it.
Aren't you even going to take off your robe?
I am. Not the best people in the world sit in bed with their robes on.
And their slippers?
Oh, all right. I'll take them off. But just for you.
Thanks.
Now the world is perfect again. If I had the strength, I'd kick myself for being so weak, but I know I have the strength.
Why don't you force yourself to take a little nap?
Me? Mm-hmm. Sleep? In the middle of the day?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd love to.
Good. Darling, I'll run along to the office, but I'll be back later this afternoon.
David, listen, if you're busy and tired, you go right home. I miss you. But don't get yourself exhausted just to keep me company.
Now, what makes you think I'd go out of my way to be with you?
'Cause you're such a nice guy. You love underdogs.
You're prejudiced. Now, my underdog, a kiss on your brow, and I am gone.
Thanks for the walk and for everything.
Thank you for everything.
And good night with roses behind. La 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 la. Come in. Oh, Dr. Rowland, I've been expecting you. I walked all the way down and back.
Well.
You know, I wouldn't exactly want to walk home, but I wouldn't mind going home.
Oh, that'll come soon enough. Another couple of days.
I'm so well, I don't see why you waste your time on me.
Well, then you don't like seeing me.
I love it, but it really isn't fair to all the other people who really need you.
You're very flattering today, my child.
You know, I was just thinking when I heard your voice outside my door. Yours must be the most satisfactory work in the world.
At times.
Just think of all the people you make happy. There's David, Mama, me, all sorts of people. You really have something to show for your work.
That's one of the reasons I went into obstetrics. It's the one certain occasion when a person is pleased to go to a hospital. But every now and then there's a tough one.
There was one this morning, wasn't there? I wondered behind which closed door.
You have a good view from this room, don't you?
It's beautiful. I can see the whole city. Was it the baby or the mother?
The baby, born dead.
The baby. They're so small when they're born. It's a wonder they ever start breathing and crying.
It's the miracle that doesn't always fulfill itself. And when it doesn't,
The mother will have other children.
not this one.
Poor woman. She know yet?
Oh, she's still asleep.
She'll wonder why she was chosen for this great disappointment, won't she?
And there'll be no answer for her. None that I can give. On occasion, a doctor is a very helpless man.
Until I had my baby, I didn't appreciate what losing him would mean. It may sound strange to you, but with birth, I had my first real glimpse of death.
Yes?
It's the balance of things. You gain, you lose, for every life.
The balance.
Dr. Rowland, the scales can't always tip the way we like, no matter what we do. We don't control the scales.
We try awfully hard. So hard that sometimes we think we've mastered them. When I lose a child, I wonder.
If it weren't for you, I'll always remember that my child had the best possible start. He was brought into the world by a doctor who had the humility to blame himself for death and never to take the praise for life. I don't think there could be a finer man. I wish there was something I could do for that mother.
Thank you, my dear. Oh, there might be at that. If there is, I will call on you. I'll go down the hall now. Perhaps she's awakened now.
It was just down the hall. Oh, dear God, I have been lucky.
There's a pleasant custom growing among women during marketing. Instead of getting all worn out toting bundles and waiting in line at counters, they now step up to that friendly red cooler for ice-cold Coca-Cola. For they've discovered that marketing is easier when you shop refreshed.
Well, what do you think of the patient, Mr. King?
Pretty remarkable patient, I'd say. But then I've always thought that Claudia was a pretty remarkable woman.
She is indeed. She has a unique insight into the more important relationships in life. Understanding without experience.
No, that's very rare.
Too rare. But I think I'm going to take advantage of it.
You're going to take advantage of it? How?
Well, you know that woman down the hall who lost a child.
Well, you were just talking about her to Claudia.
That's right. I think Claudia can help me out with that case. There are times when a doctor can't cure. But a woman with feeling and intelligence, like Claudia, can.
Well, Dr. Rowland, I'll certainly be here on Monday to find out just what you mean by that. Thanks for tipping me off.
See you Monday, Mr. King. Good day.
Good day, Dr. Rowland. As I was about to say, every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again Monday at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. These programs star Catherine Bard as Claudia and Paul Crabtree as David. And the entire production is supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
July 9th, 1948, Claudia here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. I said it was a sweet soap opera, and really very positive in nature. You gotta love it. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please do me a favor, thank this station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Now, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. You can always hear the shows through my webpage, classicradio.stream. There you can stream the shows, learn more about classic radio collecting. We have links to all of the podcast sites that have our show. We also can have our social media links. You can buy me a coffee if you want to. I would appreciate it. and it goes toward getting us some more new shows here. And you can contact me as well, classicradio.stream. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.